Hi, everybody. Welcome. Thanks so much for joining us, and thanks for your patience today as we worked out a couple of Zoom kinks. Happy that you found us in the right meeting here. And if you want to share this with anyone else, I just sent the link out again, so feel free to send it to them. And as I mentioned earlier, we will be recording this also and posting it to the IEA YouTube page, which you can get to directly from our website. So if you like what you heard and you want to share that, we encourage you to do so. Before I jump in and introduce Nick, I want to take care of just a couple little housekeeping items. If we haven't met before, my name is Lisa Jordan. I'm the managing director of the IEA, and I'm the executive director of the Charlotte Executives Association. Want to put in a quick plug and a shout out for the IEA conference, which is coming up this September in Akron, Ohio, September 30th through October 2nd. Akron is actually where the IEA was formed 30 years ago. So we have a little bit of an anniversary to celebrate this year. And the IEA is excited to be hosting the conference with the help of the Akron Executives Association. And perfect to talk about that today because Nick Anderson is going to be one of our speakers at the conference. So we're super excited to have Nick and lots and lots of great topics and opportunities for you. So we encourage you to take a look at that. The early bird pricing is available now. It's the lowest price you will get on the conference. It's under $600 and it includes all the content, social events, your meals. We're going to go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It's going to be a great conference and we'd love to see you there. Okay, with that, I will stop talking because you did not come on here to hear me. I know that. So help me welcome Nick Anderson. Nick is a returning webinar host to the IEA. I think Nick last presented about a year ago, maybe. So we're excited to have him back on a different topic this time. Nick is the CEO of OneAccord, a firm dedicated to helping businesses achieve their full potential through strategic growth and operational excellence. With more than 25 years of experience in business consulting and a passion for empowering business owners, Nick and his team at OneAccord have guided numerous companies to success. His expertise spans various industries, and his insights are grounded in real-world experience and a deep understanding of market dynamics. Take it away, Nick.
Well, thank you, Lisa. Whoever wrote that intro, kudos, or thank you
I
to
want to meet
Claude.
that guy.
Yeah, yeah, that was great. Well, hey, today's conversation it's a message, and it's right there on your screen. Stop bolting on AI. And for some who are listening live or will be watching later, who might be in that space of AI curious, I would just change the word stop to don't. Don't bolt on AI. What we want to do instead is engineer a high revenue sales motion. I'm going to come at this not as an AI expert because I'm not. I was a banker for 25 years. I'm not a coder. I'm not a tech guy. I am a businessman. I've just recognized that this technology that we all refer to as AI is very meaningful. It is changing everything, and I need to know and understand how this is going to impact my company and you, my clients. So this discussion today is really me drawing back the curtain, not to tell you what to do, although I am saying stop bolting on AI, but rather to show you what we are doing. It's early. It's the frontier days in technological evolution or revolution in this space that is referred to as AI. It's early, and everybody that I know is just starting to figure things out. And that's where I'm at. So, by way of just a little deeper background, OneAccord is a strategy first professional services firm. And we serve owners and entrepreneurs that are endeavoring to grow their businesses. That's all of you. That's all of you. Our use case and context is important. I'll put a pin in that word context and come back to it in a moment. Um, our number one use case is that folks will hire us a couple of years before they want to transition their company, either transition to the next generation of ownership, transition to a management buyout or succession that way, or sell the company on the open market. We like it when folks engage with us 3 years ahead of that date. Sometimes it's a year and a half. If it's inside of a year, that makes things exciting, let's say. So we're looking at ways in which we can help firms grow revenue, grow profitability, if I signal towards the bottom line, which is make the company more efficient. And both of those things are true in this conversation around AI, artificial intelligence, technology. Context is important. So we believe our thesis in OneAccord is that strategy trumps speed. I say we are a strategy first professional services firm. Some of the services that we offer, we might get into. That's less relevant today. Here again, I want to show you what we are doing to create a high revenue sales motion using AI. AI is a force multiplier for a sound sales process, not a replacement for a poor one. If you have a broken sales motion and you sprinkle a little AI on it, it's just going to be more broken. And I'll pause for a moment. This language of a sales motion, uh, I heard these words used not too long ago. I think someone asked me, tell me about your sales motions. And I said, well, I mean, sometimes happy, sometimes sad. I didn't catch the word. They weren't asking me about my emotions around sales. They were asking about the motions. What are we doing? What movements are we making in our sales efforts? And so that's what that means, the sales motions, and that will make sense. Context is important. Uh, GTM engineering. So I'm looking at, the right side of the screen here. Go to market engineering. So now I'm going to put all this consulting language in a word salad. Go to market sales motions is what we're talking about. How do you take your product or service to market? What do you go to market with in terms of messaging and offers? What is the market that you are speaking to or selling into? Who's your ideal client? What is your unique value proposition as you go to market with your offers? All of this becomes your sales motion. And we think about, do we go to market through cold email, through cold calls, through network referrals? Are we looking for SEO and to create inbound draw? Are we trying to capture intent signals? Are we using social media and paid ads? All of these are questions that we would help our client identify and put into a strategy. End to end, the go-to-market sales motion. And for some of you, bits and pieces of that are clear. And for some, all of it is pretty clear. For some, like, oh my gosh, he's talking about this and I need help there. If you're in that seat and someone comes along and pitches you an AI solution and you don't have that go-to-market sales motion, that strategy really well thought out, here again, you're going to put something on top of a bad platform and it's not going to work. Thus, stop bolting on, but rather come up with the strategy. So I have this thought, success in the era of AI. I have this thought that is antithetical to the words that are being used, which you may have heard. The words human in the loop. I don't know about you, but I don't think that my clients would hire me to deliver them ChatGPT. Our clients don't hire us to deliver AI with a human in the loop. Rather, what we want to do is treat the technology that we call AI like an arrow that we carry in our quiver, a tool. So AI is in the human loop. So success, I would say, is defined by how well humans and AI share that loop. And I think In my application, in my use case, our clients hire us for our expertise. No longer is it the case that someone's going to hire us for our knowledge, because that knowledge exists in these large language models, but instead, they're going to hire us for our wisdom and our experience and our knowing how to use that knowledge. And then what we're going to talk about, what I'm going to share with you, is a big shift. If I look at the bottom right of the screen, we're going to shift from activity tracking, and this is in the sales motions. And right now I'm thinking about sales pipelines. Sales pipelines. For those of you who have sales teams or sales people, you may have a sales pipeline. It might live in your CRM system. You might have some prospects and you might put them at some stage on that pipeline. They're a suspect and then they're a prospect and then they're qualified and then you've delivered a scope of work or a proposal and then they're signed and then it's a deal won. And we track activities. What technology allows us to do today is create signal-driven, outcome-engineered growth. Signal-driven. And I'm going to show you exactly how that works. God willing, I'm going to do some real live demos of some things that we are building internally, tools that we are using for our own go-to-market sales motions, and you will see. So let's dig in. Step one, AI-enabled research. I think that this is the lowest hanging fruit in terms of use cases for that high revenue go-to-market sales motion where we can use AI. We'll begin with signal discovery. So if we think about how do your salespeople find prospects? If you're in business to business sales, let's say you offer alarm system technology. You put alarm systems into buildings. You've got some hardware and you've got some monitoring, and you're selling business to business. You might be selling to tenants that occupy high-rise buildings. You might be selling to someone like me who owns a small standalone office building. How do you find me? Well, you can access some public databases. You might find who registered a new business, or if there's transaction activity in real estate sales, or you might just look up a directory of business. You might just do a Google search, businesses in my area. How do you know if I'm qualified? How do you know if I am your ideal client? Well, when you're looking at leads lists, you don't really know. But now I'm going to take it one step up. How do you know if I'm ready to buy from you? That question is answered with the word signals, intent signals. How might you know if I have the intent to buy? Well, Google and Google Ads and Google Analytics were the first to get us close here. So through search engine optimization, keywords, etc., when one of your prospective clients is Googling, how do I fill in the blank? You want to show up on the top of the list as the answer to that question. How do I set up an alarm for my office building? Washington Alarm needs to be top of that list through SEO. And and so Shannon at Washington Alarm would know. And by the way, Shannon is a Seattle Execs member, and I think she's great, and so I'm using her as an example. And I'm a new client of Shannon's, and so that's another reason that Execs is awesome. She found me because I found her because we were in the same room, and I said, Shannon, I think I want to change my alarm system, right? But in this case, if I was Googling alarm systems and then I found her, and then I would have to, as the customer, I'd have to go to Shannon's website, I'd have to click, and I'd have to call. So then we have inbound. And for a salesperson, beautiful, beautiful. That takes a lot of work out of it because this person is already coming in and they're vetted to some degree and they're qualified, right? AI allows us to do this differently. If if things work here, uh, I'm going to introduce you to something that I think is pretty cool. Um, okay, Lisa, can I get a visual check? Am I sharing a screen right now that looks like a list that says company websites?
It's looks like a spreadsheet, event, web, intent table.
Wonderful. Beautiful. This is what I wanted to share. Okay.
Great.
What you are looking at here is our OneAccord's instance of Clay. Instance means like my login, right? I'm sharing with you a tool that I use, and the tool is called Clay. Some of you may have heard of this. For those of you who haven't, you might Google it and learn about it. What you'll learn is that this thing is a Ferrari. Right? It is amazing. Um, it's so cool that it takes like a Ferrari certified technician to run it for most people. Um, we at OneAccord are exploring becoming a Clay partner. Today, we're a Clay user, but I think it's so cool. I want to help folks build what we are building. So you're looking at one use case of Clay, and this is web intent. So this is a list of 625 visitors to the OneAccord website. And if I draw back the curtain as to how this works, the IP address of the user that went to the OneAccord website is associated with a business that might be Minnesota Light Displays or somebody working at Amazon, not unlikely. USI Insurance, this is a local insurance broker. Someone there went to our website and looked at the About Us page and was reading about my business partner, the founder, Jeff Rogers, the founder of OneAccord. And then they also went to our strategic planning landing page. So I know that someone at USI was interested enough in OneAccord and they wanted to know about Jeff and they wanted to know about strategic planning. Now, our Clay workflow goes beyond this. I'm not going to go that deep into it, but we can build these Clay tables. It does look like a spreadsheet or a table to then filter through of these companies who fit our ICP. My ideal client is the owner, founder, operator of a company that has revenues above 25 million. The sweet spot is 25 to 100 million, but we work with companies over. So I can have this software filter through of all the people who visited my website, which are the companies that are likely to fit in my ideal client profile. And I can go one step further to then enrich those companies' data to find the senior leadership, the CEO. I can find you. If you visit my website, I can find your contact information and I can reach out to you. Now, if that's creepy, I'm sorry, but this is what's happening. I receive dozens, if not hundreds of cold emails every week. And if I'm being honest, they're all crap. They're just junk. So I'm not advocating for that. What I am advocating for is I can give my salespeople real-time data that says Bob, who owns the aerospace manufacturing firm XYZ Manufacturing, visited our website and he was looking at succession planning. And what my sales team would choose to do with that might be to reach out to Bob directly with a phone call or an email, a personalized email. We'll get into some of this. Or we might just reach out to Bob with a LinkedIn connection and just follow him for a while. Maybe engage with some of his activity if he's active on LinkedIn. We might just want to, in a digital approach, put ourselves in the same room as Bob in a way that is similar to the way that Shannon at Washington Alarm and I became one of her clients. We were in the same room together. We were just hanging out. We were there. We saw the same speakers. We reacted to the same thing. That can happen in a digital environment. Okay, so I'm going to dial back from this and hopefully get back to my slide. Lisa, visual check. Good. Thumbs up. Okay, good. So I've showed you a, an AI-based technology solution that has one use case, just one use case for signal discovery, intent signal. Somebody's visiting our website and they went to specific pages. So that's telling me what they're interested in. And then this pre-qualification, well, through Clay and through the data that's there, I can discern, is this someone in my ICP? Well, now I'm going to shift gears. So that's kind of researching prospective clients. What happens when my salesperson calls Bob and Bob answers and he says, "Hey, Bob, I just was curious. I noted that you posted something on LinkedIn about, succession planning, right? I don't want to tell Bob, hey, I saw that you were watching, visiting our website. That gets a little creepy. But hey, I saw this post on LinkedIn, maybe a DM Bob, and we actually get on a call. So we're talking to Bob now. That's where we are in our process. I'm going to walk you through some framework that we use internally. I'll go through a few slides pretty quickly. J.R. Covey, who is on our team, he's a sales psychologist. He's got like the coolest job in the world. He works with salespeople to help them overcome the stories that they tell themselves that prevent them from asking for the business. He developed this framework that we call the buyer's journey. The buyer's journey. We no longer track on our sales pipeline where we think the buyer is at. Rather, we can discern through our conversation using AI, which I will show you, where the buyer is at. They tell us, are they in this state of being bothered? So they're experiencing pain and they can articulate it. They're not curious, not just curious or interested, they're actively bothered by a problem. They understand what the problem is. So they're moving along. So, like, I'm frustrated. My revenues aren't where they need to be. Okay, now I'm frustrated because my revenues aren't where they need to be. And I know that's because my sales team is just going after the wrong deals, right? Yearning. I, I need my sales team to have clearer data, to be going after a better fit for my ICP because we're wasting time, we're wasting money, and we're losing out. I need this solution. Now, this explainable, that the client might be bothered, they might understand, they might be yearning before they come to us. So I meet with Bob. Revenues are declining. He knows why. He really wants a solution. So I meet with Bob and I explain to him, okay, well, here's how we're going to help you make your sales team more efficient. I hear you say that they're wasting a lot of time chasing after unqualified leads. If we can get them to better leads and get them in a process where they're qualifying better, is that going to help you solve your problem? Bob says yes. So we spend some time to get him to the place where Bob can articulate the solution that I would bring, that OneAccord would bring, and he can defend it in his own words to his internal stakeholders, to his business partners, to his wife, to whomever it is that needs to approve the expense of hiring me. Until Bob can do that, he's not really a qualified prospect in our world. So all of these labels then translate right over into our sales pipeline. And what I say to our sales team is you can't advance a deal until your client tells you where they're at. Now, are we asking Bob, hey, Bob, are you ready? No, we're not. But Bob is telling us. And if you see here, budget's confirmed, authority is identified, the timing is real. So this is the age-old BANT qualification, budget, authority, need, and timing. Ready is not about enthusiasm. So I can't tell you how many times I have sat with someone on my sales team. Hey, how'd your meeting go? Oh, great. This is going to be a great, yeah? Well, tell me about it. Oh, we had a great conversation. Okay, go deeper. Enthusiasm is not ready. So what you see here on your screen, AI will cross-reference signals, structures, and timeline data to confirm that the prospect has the means and the mandate to move now. And then at the end, we have started. How do we do this? We leverage what is called conversational intelligence. We are on Zoom. Zoom offers a really cool product. It's called Zoom Revenue Accelerator. There's a consultant on our team that is a Zoom Revenue Accelerator implementation specialist. We don't use this tool internally. It works for companies 3 people to 3,000, more than 3,000. I was going to say 300,000, but nevertheless, it's a very powerful tool. We are not ready to bolt that on in our sales motion yet, but I'm looking at Zoom as one of the solutions that we might use. Instead, we are testing internally. And so I'm going to show you, hopefully, here again, God willing, this works. I'm going to show you what we've got. That should be here. Now, this is a moment of real vulnerability because I'm showing you an agent that I built in Copilot Studio. So we're talking AI. I'm not a tech guy, but I built this. This is my OneAccord sales coach. So I can ask the coach, I can say, I'm meeting with the owner of an meeting with the owner of an aerospace manufacturing business. Please give me call prep and case study data to get ready. So I'm asking my sales coach, I'm going to push enter. I hope this works. I'm asking my sales coach to get me ready for a call to Bob, my soon to be hopefully future client. And I've just looked up to see my screen. Bethany, how are you? I've been talking about Shannon all day. Good to see you. Okay. So what you see here is that my sales coach is searching through knowledge sources that I own. This is not going to ChatGPT. These are brochures and client success plan examples that live in my instance of SharePoint. I've trained this agent to work with our knowledge base. And the sales coach comes back and tells me, here's some industry trends and market analysis. I pay for a lot of data on businesses across the US, and so that those data my agent can access. It's giving me relevant case study and client testimonials. Here it is highlighted Oregon cherry growers. This is a client that we served. They honored us with a testimonial. And so this is being brought back to me by our sales coach, our value proposition. And here are some questions that I could ask Bob for each stage of the buyer's journey. So my sales coach has been trained on our go-to-market sales motion. You understand that I'm not just bolting on this neat thing. I've got a whole system and a whole strategy that the AI is augmenting and making better. Now imagine if you had a full-time sales coach that could just walk around with every one of your salespeople and coach them on their call prep. And you can do that for like $1,000, right? But if you don't have the strategy, it's not going to work. Okay, so some call prep tactics, and here are some links to case studies and testimonials. Okay, now let's say I had the conversation with Bob. So I'm going to say to the sales coach, please review this call script and tell me where Bob is on the buyer's journey. Now, I think, is this one, Bob? Oh boy. I created 2 fictitious sales call transcripts. I hope this works. I'm going to attach this. So how do I get a sales call transcript? Here again, I don't know about you, but many, if not most of my meetings, even if somebody lives 5 miles away, they're on Zoom. We're doing the video stuff. If you're not, um, there are other ways to record calls. I understand that for some, this is uh, uncharted territory. I would just say to you that inside of the next 12 months, my expectation is that it will be common practice that most every conversation is recorded. That might be a little aggressive, but that's my thinking. I'm going to ask the sales coach to review my conversation with Bob and pull out of that conversation the signals that Bob has given that indicate to me where he is at on this journey. Is he bothered? Does he understand? Is he yearning yet? Can he explain OneAccord's solution back to internal stakeholders? And so the sales coach tells me, oh, I grabbed the wrong one. I grabbed Joe. So we're now talking to Joe, Bob's partner, who's a little skeptical. Joe's clearly aware of his company's pain points. He has a defined vision. He's actively evaluating solutions. He's comparing partners. He's able to explain. So here's some evidence. So where is Joe at in this journey? He's bothered, he understands, he's yearning. Yes, in current stage and ready, it says partial. He's not ready to move forward with us. He's got a budget, but he's still evaluating options and fit. Okay. If I can go back to my presentation. So, conversation intelligence is where I train an AI agent to look for the signals and clues that align with our strategy and then to tell our salesperson. So, my salesperson might have come back from this meeting with Joe and like, we got one. He's got the budget, he needs it. We're really cool. We got along. But my salesperson may have been overly optimistic and not picked up on the fact that Joe is actually looking at other options. And we don't know yet how we compare to those other options. And so we still have some work to do to close a deal. And I can't tell you how many times in conversation review we've uncovered things where the salesperson was like, oh my gosh, I forgot he even said that. You have an hour-long conversation with a prospect, remembering all the details, it's going to be difficult. So rolling this out in our company, it's been a slow roll. It's not something that I mandate or dictate, it's an invitation. Hey, sales team, we've got these tools that can help make you better. You can close more deals and make more money. Would you like to? Surprisingly, some people say no. Okay. But for those who said yes, and then they've gone that extra step to say, yeah, I would allow you to share the results of my conversation with the team, we are learning so fast on how to be better with our clients. And here's the beautiful thing. We're not using sales tactics. We're talking to our client and listening to our client better than ever. And we're responding to their needs and we're answering their questions. So in the end, they choose us. We're not selling, they're choosing to buy our services. Okay. We get into some of these hidden issues, these hidden challenges. And if you see in the upper left, we've got BANT 2.0, BANT, budget authority, need and timing. It used to be if you could establish they've got the money, they can sign the contract, they have the need, and the time is now, you got a sale. Well, there might be a silent partner. Sure, I'm the CEO, I can sign the contract, but I'm not going to sign a big contract without talking to my partner first. Now, I might show you that I really want this solution, but is that actually need? You might know that I have a business with X revenue, but you don't know what other expenses or where I've, built my budget. So understanding and qualifying at this level is going to it's going to up the game. All right. There's a nuance here, moving from understanding to yearning, and this is where the prospect has to be able to describe the approach, our solution, and if they can't, they're still in that understanding stage. Moving into yearning is when they really want our solution. It's not just that they want to fix the problem, it's that they want us to help them fix the problem. And then we go to explainable, and they can explain and defend that internally. And these are some of the nuances that we coach and train to internally with our sales team, and being able to review that conversation, have AI analyze it, helps us make our sales teams better. All right, so I'm going to go to the third leg of this stool, the AI enabled CRM. So once again, in a moment of vulnerability, I'm sharing screen, and I'm actually going to share with you a contact record from our CRM. And this is actually a friend of mine, so I feel very comfortable sharing publicly that Duncan Taylor, the CEO of the Washington Bankers Association, is in my CRM. We have a strategic partnership with the Washington Bankers Association to work with their member banks and banks across the country, in fact, to deliver strategic planning support, succession planning, and so forth. Within my CRM system, and we're a Zoho shop, Zoho CRM is what we use. We also happen to be a Zoho partner, so we work with other folks that use Zoho. Zoho leverages AI. And what you're looking at here is just a segment of Duncan's contact page within CRM. Notice how CRM is picking up on recently mentioned keywords. So the email conversations that we've had with Duncan recently address a press release that he and Mike, the head of our financial institutions practice, they're having a conversation about a joint press release announcing our partnership. And so the AI here is picking up on keywords. And you see that in the communication, Duncan has labeled our approach as pragmatic and personal. And he speaks about WBA's ethos and the human dimension. He does say maybe that our press release article is too long. Great. And look at how smart this technology is it's labeling that as a negative sentiment. So our sales team have access into this. And then if I just show you a little bit more, overall response sentiment, but now we're looking at overall response by intent. So the AI here is looking at intent signals from communication with our contact. There's purchase intent, there's request, complaint, and we could dig into this. This is where AI is augmenting our go-to-market sales motion. It's providing information and data, really relevant data back to our sales team. So an AI-enabled CRM system is just one of those arrows in the quiver, one of those tools in that broad strategy. All right, back to the slides. So we go from being a database to an engine. CRM is no longer just this repository for data. It's not just collecting but it's actually showing up as a partner. CRM is saying like, "Hey Nick, these are the things that Duncan is saying that you might want to pay attention to." Like, "Hey, thanks buddy, that's helpful." We have to link our data. We have to allow CRM to look at our emails. But the result here is that the CRM is telling us the why. Why do we reach out to this prospect? What do we have to talk with them about? Okay, so building the waterfall, and I'm going to bring this thing to a close in about 6 minutes. So we got some time for Q&A. The research signal. AI can detect the bother trigger. Now, Clay that I showed you earlier can go so far as to scrape or monitor LinkedIn feeds for companies or for individuals. And if somebody posts something that is a bother trigger, that can be fed back to your sales team. AI can enrich CRM data, but this is a human first process. And personalized outreach. Now I'm going to show you one more tool that we use, and my demos have been going well, so I'm optimistic here. I'm going to show you a tool that was actually built for us. Um, this is custom software that is actually soon to be available to to everyone, but we are kind of the beta client. Um, we call it Value Hunter. Um, I have a folder, as you can see here, a folder of investment bank prospects. We do a lot of work with and for investment bankers. Investment bankers are the women and men who sell companies. Um, when someone calls them, when Bob calls um, Andrea Lyons at IBA and says, Andrea, I'd like you to sell my company. And Andrea says, I'm sorry, Bob, your company's not ready. You should go talk to Nick. Uh, that's a great referral partner for us. And so I'm very, very invested in building relationships with investment bankers. So here we go. Bill Sherman is an investment banker in Atlanta, Georgia. Value Hunter found him for me. So this is an AI-based software that found Bill, and he found hundreds of other investment bankers. And this tells me, and all of these data are publicly available. Most of this is scraped off of a website. You know, Bill wants people to know who he is and where he works because he wants inbound phone calls, and he's got a profile on LinkedIn. This goes so far as to give me information on Bill's company and Bill. So I could reach out to Bill and Value Hunter. I've kind of queued up over here um, an email. So I went into Value Hunter and I found Bill and I said, I want to send some emails to Bill about this webinar that I'm doing for IEA and let him know that I'd love to share with him how we're using AI in our sales motion. And so Value Hunter wrote me these emails. So leading an investment banking firm means you're constantly balancing deal flow. Here's what we do. Candidly, these are cold emails that I wouldn't send. So I'm not advocating that we just pull this out, drop it into email, and send it out. Rather, this is a tool that our salespeople can use to inspire a conversation. And maybe it's not an email to Bill, but it's a phone call to Bill. Or maybe what we do, I don't know if I have a copy of it here. We have a book that we publish that we love to hand out to business owners. We might just find Bill's address and put a handwritten note and mail Bill a copy of the book, but we've got personalized outreach and there are emails that are here that we could take this and drop it into our own email and make it even more personal, more real, and send that out to try to get a phone call with Bill to share with him what we do. So you're seeing on my, all these tabs that I have open, I've not just bolted on or, picked up. I didn't just go sign up for Clay and say, this is going to solve all my sales problems. I didn't just set up Value Hunter and say, this is going to give me leads and these emails that I can send cold. It's the whole sales motion. There's a strategy here that uses a sales coach and AI enabled CRM. So I'll go back to my presentation. So we find prospects based on their signals for us. That's going to make highly qualified outreach. But we also do cold outreach to Bill, the investment banker. He's not looking for me, I'm looking for him. So how do I reach him? Well, I can enrich data around Bill and his company so that when I'm reaching out, it's like any good salesperson does research on their prospective client. That's what we're doing here. Human review, personalized outreach, and then we get into that discovery call. We now have tools that can help us analyze that call and make it more effective. Last, here are some rules of the road, and these are our internal rules that I want to share with you. Uh, if the prospect cannot articulate a compelling reason, the pipeline value is zero. So I'm hard on this. We don't advance opportunities in our pipeline until our client tells us it's time to advance them. Many, if not most, all pipelines that I would look at have some degree of distortion, some degree of optimism from the salesperson that we can filter out all that noise and find only signal. Another rule, enthusiasm is not commitment. Positive conversations do feel like progress, but we need to have the clear, confirmed next steps to really consider that progress. And the only way that we can validate that is if we leverage conversation intelligence. And then, in the end, if it's not paid for, it's not a deal. But human beings are necessary in this process. AI is not going to close sales for me. I'm not Amazon. People don't shop on my website. They buy our professional services from our professionals. So, where are some starting places? Some suggested next steps. I might say start with the end. Where I ended with CRM, I might suggest start there. Hopefully you have a CRM system. If you don't, give me a call. We can help you set up Zoho. Uh, do you have data in the CRM that's noise versus signal? All right, number two, identify one bother signal that you might automate this week. So now I'm asking you internally, you and your company, what is something that you are bothered with that you might be able to automate using some AI solution? And if you don't know what solutions to use, we're not a technology company. I built these agents. I'm not selling agent building. We're a strategy first pro serve firm. If you want some help identifying, some of those bother signals that you might automate, I'd be happy to spend 15 minutes on a phone call. I'm sure we could come up with something and then match it to a solution. And then map your top 10 prospects to the buyer's stage that they're actually in. This is our framework, buyer's journey. Come up with your own, use ours. Happy to share it with you. Think about the top 10 prospects that you have in your pipeline and maybe just sort it by revenue potential. The most top 10 profitable clients, where are they at? And how do you know? Okay, that is, I think, the end of my presentation. So I will stop sharing and open up for some Q&A.
Thanks, Nick. That was helpful. Yeah, please, Jacqueline, go ahead, unmute yourself and jump in there.
Okay. So I don't know if you can see my chat. I actually use Zoom Info right now. Are you familiar with that, Nick?
Yeah. So Zoom Info being a data repository where you can get information on. Yep.
Yeah, so I put in my intents, so my company is print, apparel, and promo. So I just put up like company stores, print, promo, awards, and I see all these companies, and then I can gauge based off of that. And then I just go direct to the decision maker. So it's more like sniper rifle rather than just throwing spaghetti on the wall and seeing what sticks, right? And I was wondering, is that something that you can integrate with?
When you say something that be a
Like
little
I would
more
like to
explicit.
leverage those intents. So like download all those contacts, and then have AI agents just reach out and then start running the funnel for me.
Oh, for sure. That is entirely possible to build. It's not something that we would necessarily build. So I'm more in the help you write the plan and the strategy to do that and maybe find the the company that could build those agents. Um, the the way I would go about doing that, so the answer is yes. And the way I do it is to
Mm.
pull from Value Hunter, which I showed you.
Yes.
Um, Value Hunter derives information from ZoomInfo, from Apollo, from Crunchbase. It goes to a wide variety, and its enrichment layers in multiple data sources and produces those emails, those 3 emails. So we actually can just tie that over to our Zoho CRM instance and have Zoho automate an email campaign. That's how
Perfect.
I would do it. So you take your Zoom info and you match it up with a CRM that has an email campaign functionality. And so now you're taking that sniper rifle approach and you're automating all of the outreach. And you'd
Nice.
want to
Okay.
build things in, where you get data fed back to you. So that 100% is a use case for, here again, bringing together a few tools in a
Yep.
strategy.
Like
Yep.
layering. Yeah. Do
Yeah,
you
I think
offer discount on Zoho through you?
that's a great question. I don't
Are you an affiliate?
We are. I don't know that there's discount pricing. This is one of those things where I don't own that product. Lawrence Lerner is managing principal within the firm, and so he knows price. I'm embarrassed that I don't know the answer to that question,
No, that's okay.
but I don't know. Yeah.
I would actually just maybe like to schedule a time with you to talk because I have very in-depth, long questions,
Yeah, yeah.
more detailed. So
Happy to.
if I could do
Happy
that,
to.
that'd be awesome.
Yeah, you bet.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other
Bethany,
questions?
looks like
Bethany, go
Bethany
ahead.
is either. Yeah.
Hi, Nick. Thank you so
Hello.
much. I'm learning so much. My brain is going 1,000 miles a minute. But I do have a quick question because you mentioned that not all your sales reps are adopting the AI tools, which I think are just phenomenal. Are you seeing any difference in the outputs between the sales reps that are using it and those that aren't quite adopting it yet?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Um, here's the biggest challenge is getting comfortable recording conversations. That's of all the stuff here, that's the one. And if I bring in my own fear and insecurity and I say, Bethany, is it okay if I record this? Versus, hey, this is a really important conversation. I'm going to turn on transcription so I make sure I don't miss anything. That's the difference. And if someone, listen, we have conversations that are very, very confidential. Somebody's talking about selling their business, right? They may not, in fact, want us to record that conversation. And of course, we won't. We'll do our best to capture the intent. But even within that, I have built these tools within the Microsoft Copilot. They are locked into our database. And we're not teaching the model back. We're not feeding OpenAI. We work with banks and credit unions, financial institutions. We keep the data safe so we can encourage folks, but that's the number one thing. Um, I'd say the second inhibitor to adoption, um, I wish I could ask for like a total show of hands, but there's just a few people with cameras on. How many of you have heard of Claude? Awesome. Good. Did you know that Claude Cowork is only 70 days new?
Oh,
Yeah. So someone told I interviewed an M&A attorney this morning and he told me that. So if he's wrong, that's on Eric Pacifici. It's not on me. But he told me that and I like it was amazing to me. Like it feels like this has been around forever, but they're not. The tools are new and they break. They
hmm.
break. So the second challenge is that I'm asking my team to go out on like the leading edge, not the bleeding edge, but the leading edge of new technology. And I'm asking them for grace and patience and mercy as we build these tools to make them better. But when they log in and they try to use it and then it breaks and they get discouraged because it slows down their motion, they're just going to do it the way they've always done it. So those are the two reasons why adoption is a challenge for us. And it's why my strategy internally is calibrated. I didn't just say, we're doing this. Everybody across, right? I'm asking for those early adopters to go help me break it so that I can fix it, so that it works for the mass population. Not everybody's like Jacqueline out there wanting to, build the Zoom info intent signals and get after it. But I want to hitch my wagon to those folks that are, trying to figure it out and let's go break stuff together.
Anyone else? Any other questions? Yeah, Jacqueline, go ahead.
Last thing, Nick, I did send you in chat some details, so I just want to make sure you read those. I do have some connections for you, especially with banking. I specialize with banks as well.
Oh, good.
And then I also have one of my close buddies is an AI venture founder and investor. Knows a
Cool.
lot of stuff. So I think that those would be great connections for you.
Yeah, thank you. We'll definitely, where's home for you, Jacqueline?
Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Okay.
Sooner,
Well, we'll
sooner.
definitely have to
Yeah.
follow up.
One of our newest IEA chapters. Glad to see you there.
Waited
Awesome.
15 years to get in this.
Yeah.
15 years. I'm here.
Well,
Thank you, Nick.
it seems like your membership just paid for itself in just this meeting of Nick. So
100%.
yeah, so tell your fellow members there in Tulsa.
Oh, I will.
Any other questions for Nick? All right. Well, thank you so much. We're ending just on time today. So as I mentioned, this will be posted on the IEA YouTube page if you'd like to go back and watch it again and make sure you didn't miss anything.
Thanks for having me.
And if you'd like to hear more from Nick, join us in Akron this fall and you'll get to hear him and meet him in person, be actually in the room with them.
And I'm not talking about AI. Well, I probably will because you can't talk about AI, but the keynote is something entirely different. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
Thank you.